Welcome to Law and the Machine, where artificial intelligence meets the legal system, liability, regulation, intellectual property, and the government's uncomfortable role as both rulemaker and AI adopter. The law wasn't written for this.
$100 million. That's the alleged cost of an AI system gone wrong in a lawsuit filed against one of the world's largest pizza chains. And the spark for this massive legal battle? Cold pizza.
It's an incredible story of operational breakdown. What began as a promise of hyper-efficient, AI-driven delivery logistics for Pizza Hut franchisees allegedly devolved into a chaotic system that routed orders to the wrong stores, ignored actual store capacity, and left customers waiting longer for cold food.
So a system designed to make deliveries faster and hotter ended up doing the exact opposite, and now a major franchisee group is suing for a 9-figure sum. This isn't just a technical hiccup. This sounds like a fundamental challenge to how businesses can and should deploy AI.
Precisely. The lawsuit from EYM Group, which operates over 250 Pizza Hut locations, claims the AI-powered order routing system, often referred to as HutBot or an equivalent, was not just ineffective, but actively destructive to their business. It's a stark illustration of algorithmic management backfiring on an epic scale.
This HutBot system, as you called it, what exactly was it supposed to do? What was the corporate pitch to these franchisees?
The promise was essentially a significant advancement in delivery. The system was touted to use sophisticated algorithms to predict demand, optimize delivery routes, and assign orders to the most efficient store, regardless of where the customer initially placed the order. The idea was to minimize delivery times, maximize driver efficiency, and ultimately boost sales and customer satisfaction. Think of it as a centralized brain for thousands of pizza deliveries.
So it's taking the human element out of dispatch, trying to find the optimal path. But what did the franchisees experience in practice? What was the cold pizza moment?
The lawsuit details a litany of issues. Stores were allegedly inundated with orders from miles away, bypassing closer locations, even when those closer stores had ample capacity. Drivers were sent on extended routes, burning more gas and taking longer, sometimes delivering pizzas that were no longer hot. There are claims of orders being sent to stores that were already slammed, leading to massive delays, or even stores that were temporarily closed. Essentially, the optimal routing was optimizing for a theoretical model, not the messy reality of daily operations.
So the AI system was, in effect, making terrible decisions that a human dispatcher would never make. And the franchisees, who are ultimately responsible for delivering hot pizza, were powerless to intervene?
That's a critical point. The plaintiffs allege they were effectively stripped of their operational autonomy. They were mandated to use this system, and when they saw orders being misrouted or queues building up unsustainably, they couldn't override the AI's decision. They couldn't tell the system, hey, this store is closer, or my store is swamped, send it somewhere else. It became a black box, dictating their operations, and they were forced to follow its directives, even when those directives were clearly detrimental to their business and customer experience.
It's like being handed a cutting-edge GPS that insists on taking you through a traffic jam when there's an open highway right next to you, and you're not allowed to ignore it. That must have created immense frustration on the ground.
Absolutely. The analogy is apt. Imagine trying to explain to a customer why their pizza is late and cold, knowing full well it was because an algorithm, not a human error, sent it on a circuitous journey. The lawsuit claims this led to a significant loss of customers, diminished sales, and increased operational costs due to wasted fuel and labor. The human operators were left to manage the fallout of an unyielding, flawed algorithmic manager.
And the alleged financial damage is staggering: $100 million. How do the plaintiffs arrive at that figure? What kinds of damages are they claiming?
The $100 million figure represents a combination of lost profits, increased operational expenses, and damage to their business reputation and customer goodwill over an extended period. The suit isn't just about a few bad deliveries. It's about a systemic failure that undermined the core profitability and efficiency of their multi-franchise operation. They're alleging breach of contract, constructive fraud, and negligence, arguing that Pizza Hut corporate either knew or should have known about the system's flaws and yet mandated its use, essentially forcing franchisees into a losing proposition.
That raises a much larger question about the liability of deploying these kinds of AI systems. If a corporate entity mandates the use of an AI tool that then causes direct, quantifiable harm to its partners or customers, where does the legal responsibility fall? Is it with the developer of the AI, the corporate entity that deployed it, or the individual franchisees who had to use it?
That's precisely the central legal question this case illuminates for the AI era. Traditionally, liability would be clearer. If a corporate policy caused harm, the corporation is liable. But here, the policy is an algorithm. The plaintiffs are essentially arguing that the AI was defective in its design or implementation, and that Pizza Hut corporate, as the mandating entity, bears responsibility for its failures. It's a test case for how courts will grapple with the attribution of fault when an algorithm is the proximate cause of business losses. The black box nature of the AI also complicates things, as proving why it made certain decisions can be incredibly difficult.
So it's not just about a bad piece of software. It's about the erosion of human agency in business operations. These franchisees are entrepreneurs. They invest their capital and their time, and then a corporate-mandated AI takes over some of their most critical decisions.
Exactly. This isn't just a technical problem, it's a governance problem. The system was designed to centralize decision-making, ostensibly for efficiency, but in doing so, it removed the local expertise and human judgment that could have corrected its errors in real time. It suggests a strong incentive for the corporate entity to standardize and control, perhaps without fully understanding the on-the-ground implications, or providing adequate mechanisms for feedback and override. The system optimized for something, but apparently not for the actual profitability or customer satisfaction of the individual franchise.
It feels like a classic case of what some call efficiency theater, where a new technology is rolled out with great fanfare, promising huge gains, but in practice it fails to deliver and even creates new problems.
And that's often because the metrics for efficiency are narrowly defined or don't fully capture the complexity of real-world operations. For example, if the AI is optimizing for the shortest theoretical route between 2 points, it might ignore traffic, road closures, or the current workload of a store, which a human dispatcher would immediately factor in. This lawsuit is a stark reminder that algorithmic management needs robust feedback loops, human oversight, and clear accountability structures, especially when the stakes are this high.
This lawsuit really underscores how companies need to think about the downstream impact of mandating AI, not just on their own bottom line, but on their partners and their customers.
It's a wake-up call for anyone deploying AI in critical operational roles. The allure of efficiency and cost-cutting can be powerful, but if the system is opaque, inflexible, and lacks a human-in-the-loop mechanism for correction, the liabilities can quickly escalate. This case could set an important precedent for how courts approach algorithmic liability, especially in franchise models where operational control is shared, but the ultimate responsibility for customer satisfaction often rests with the franchisee.
So what are the key takeaways from this $100 million cold pizza saga?
First, algorithmic management, while promising, can severely erode human agency and operational flexibility, creating significant friction and potential for error when human judgment is sidelined. Second, the supposed efficiencies of AI must be rigorously tested against real-world conditions, not just theoretical models, because the cost of failure, as seen here, can be catastrophic. Third, companies deploying these systems, especially those mandating their use, need clear accountability frameworks. The black box nature of some AI systems can create immense legal risk when things go wrong, and nobody can explain why.
And finally, this case is a very tangible example of AI liability playing out in court, forcing a legal reckoning with automated decision-making and who pays when an algorithm makes a multi-million-dollar mistake.
It certainly is. So the question for listeners is, how do you design and deploy AI systems that leverage their power for efficiency but still empower human operators to intervene and make common-sense corrections when the algorithm veers off course? And when an AI does cause direct, measurable business harm, what recourse should the affected parties truly have?
That's all for Law and the Machine. Join us next time as we continue exploring where AI and the law collide. If you found this useful, subscribe. We appreciate it.
The law will catch up, eventually.